You're in the tub with Auntie Svetty. Betty Poops is here too. Let's wash our tushies. Won't you help me scrub Betty Poops? I'm Auntie Svetty. Bath time is no time for being alone. Welcome, Betty Poop! Yay! You girl are the season finale of Bath Time with Auntie Svetty. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels right.
It's hot today.
I'm used to making it to the finale with you, so...
This is where it ends.
This is it. This is finale part 2,
Tell me about the decision to be Betty Poops.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, Loretta Goodlord Child is your drag mother.
She is my mother.
And daughter.
Mm-hmm. Who came up with the name?
It was something the two of us came up with together. We were texting back and forth thoroughly, thinking of what is a name that incorporates a little humor, a little glamour, a little bit of old and a little bit of poo. And that's what kind of came up.
Now, your Instagram is Betty Poops, and so do you.
That's absolutely correct. Betty Poops, and so do you.
I know, because I think I was there, or she mentioned it. Somebody said, she's really funny, but when is she going to be done with these poo jokes?
My answer to that, do you want to know my answer?
I want to know your answer, but my question's also not finished yet.
Okay, well, I'm worked up about this. I always get worked up about
Yeah.
this. When people ask me that, my response is, I'll be done with my poop jokes when you're done being a human that poops.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant because Betty Poops and so do you is like, we're not all perfect. Fuck you, queen. Your shit stinks.
Y'all shit.
Yeah.
I shit, you shit, we all shit. It's something we have in common.
But what I also wonder is how much do you want to be the public service announcement girl about poo and its problems and things you should look out for? Because it's really,
It's a responsibility. I've done some good work educating the people about poop health. I wrote a rap about the Bristol scale, which is a numbering system to help you determine whether or not your poops are healthy, whether or not you're dehydrated or lacking in fiber.
There's so much to learn.
There's so much to learn. And people, when you're relatable, and people come up to you and say, like, I have a poop story to tell you, and they tell you these harrowing experiences that are just... quite frankly, things I've never heard before.
No one wants to hear everything about poop. Like some people, do you ever worry that some people will not go and hear, they'll see Betty Poops? I don't want to hear that. Is that ever a concern?
No.
That person's just not for you.
That person just doesn't have a sense of humor.
That's the idiot that thinks that.
Overwhelmingly, people hear, Betty Poops, and then they laugh at the name.
Here's something interesting to think about.
Okay.
I won't pretend to be an expert, but a really interesting thing to look up on the internet is how toilet paper even came to be. Because we used to be so uptight in Victorian ages, we couldn't even talk, people flush with different things that backed up the plumbing. Yeah. And so it's a social problem that people can't talk about these things.
Oh, we need to talk about it.
We need to talk about it.
We need to talk about it. Let me tell you. Do you want to know what I feel about toilet paper?
I want to, in fact, I wanted to know, can you identify this paper? And please tell me everything else you want to share about toilet paper.
This is, I want to say, that's some fine threading. It's not Charmin. Am I wrong?
It's Charmin.
I meant, it's not Charmin, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yes. That is some fine.
It.
You know what's fascinating about toilet paper?
Yeah.
There are many cultures in the world that are like, why would you use toilet paper?
Right. They wash their butt with, what do you call it?
Water.
A bidet.
They use a bidet. Yeah, or they'll use a fucking bucket.
Yeah.
And they'll just slosh and use their hand I'm not
hand, at least you
judging.
could wash it.
Your hand's been... Yeah,
At least
your
you're not
hand can
killing
handle it.
trees to rub them on your asshole.
People think, like, people who use toilet paper, they're like, why are you walking around with little pieces of paper stuck up your butt?
Yeah. I've got it stuck up there when it's hot and you're fat and the toilet paper's cheap and falling apart.
And if there's hair back there.
And hours later you find this big dirty water. Of course that never happened to me.
I mean, I'm not saying that I poop. I mean, my name might be Betty Poops. And so do you, but come on.
Let's talk about something that makes you poop. You are an expert on coffee.
Oh, I love coffee.
Tell me about coffee. What kind should we buy? I believe we've got some mugs over here.
I think we do have some mugs with some coffee in it. Here, just take a mug.
Let me hold up the coffee for you.
Oh, look at this.
I'm going to take this mug.
This is coffee.
Coffee. What? Tell me what you look for in coffee. Like what? You called yourself a coffee snob.
I'm a bit of a snob. Coffee and beer, especially in this region of the world, are becoming like things people are really snobby about these days. Artisan coffee, artisan beer. Everyone wants the IPA. The IPA version of coffee is a light roast.
Oh.
Yeah, and
I'm always getting the dark roast. I didn't know that.
Some people really like the dark roast, and no judgment here, girl.
The dark roast goes right through me sometimes.
The dark roast is typically really bold, and like at this point, I taste it and I'm like, it tastes burnt.
The dark roast also has less caffeine.
Oh, we should talk about the caffeine.
Thank you, God.
This is another. Thank you, God. Most people think that dark roasts, because they're more bold in flavor, are more caffeinated. When in reality, the light roast, which has been roasted for less time, retains its caffeine.
Oh, that
That's
makes
the tea.
sense. So the light roast has more caffeine in it.
It absolutely does.
And how do you just know this from being a connoisseur, or?
I worked in the coffee industry for 10 years, working as a barista.
Can we talk about your other work?
Oh, yes, we can. But first, I want to share with you my favorite secret about coffee. And take a sip of your coffee right now, because this is part of the.
I don't have any
secret.
yet.
I'll refill it.
No,
I'll
okay,
refill it.
okay.
Take a sip of your coffee now. Tastes fine, but the real secret is when it's actually alcohol. Because why have coffee if it's not alcoholic or bubbly or champagne?
Cheers.
Cheers.
To episode 9, the finale of season 1 of Bath Time with Auntie Svetty. Take a quick commercial break for Burnside Auto Collision. The guys there are really hot and they fixed my car up cute when some bitch hit me. Burnside Auto Collision.
And white mug. For when you need a mug that's white.
So I wanted to bring up your other work because you are a musical aficionado.
That's my job.
And you teach the children to play the instruments.
Yes, I am, first and foremost, I'm a violinist.
Ooh.
That's what my trade is. I got a degree in violin performance.
Gorgeous.
And
where?
From the University of Oregon.
Okay.
With esteemed violinist Catherine Luchtenberg.
Hello, Catherine Luchtenberg.
Shout out. Look at me now.
She'd be so proud of you now. Look what you're doing with your education. So you teach violin and piano.
I teach piano, violin, piano, and viola.
Shit.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind. I have between 20 and 30 students right now.
Wow.
Private lessons.
So you're self-employed doing that.
Uh-huh.
I know that you've been on All Classical Portland.
I have been
which I love.
Classical, yes. I work with all sorts of people around town, including some wonderful singers. And I work with this organization called the Big Mouth Society. for a reason. And we got to perform on All Classical Portland.
Yeah, the Big Mouth Society. Do you still do that?
Oh, yes.
You were performing a lot before you started performing in drag.
Mm-hmm.
And it was with the Big Mouth Society.
With the Big Mouth Society most recently. But I've been bopping around doing one-off gigs with other ensembles.
That's fantastic.
But I do want to shout out to the Big Mouth Society, which is big-mouth.org, for community love music, choirs, singers, amazing performers, and just like a fucking good organization.
You're just girl about town, like performing with the Big Mouths and teaching people and making art. And
I love teaching.
Self-employed.
I think young people are one, they're gonna be around when we're too old to do shit, so we want to be on their good side. Two, I think it's a nice responsibility to take on to influence the younger
You have
folks.
to teach the arts.
Teach the children.
To the next.
I teach a bunch of children from straight families, and they need to see a big queerdo.
They do.
And also learn how to play some fierce fiddle.
How young were you when you started playing the piano?
Well, I was 12 when I started playing the violin.
Okay.
Yeah, and
that was first.
That was first, and that's my true love instrumentally, really.
Do you think it's harder for adults to learn music than children?
They say developmentally, a lot of things are retained and a lot of good habits are formed before younger than adulthood, so even before 12. And if you think about it, like the things that you learned when you were around 12 are things that really stick with you.
Be careful what you learn at 12.
Idle hands. Play the violin.
I didn't learn how to play music as a child, and I regret it, but I played one instrument. Can I play the one instrument I played for you?
Absolutely.
Will you attempt to sing while I play for you?
I will. You want me to sing?
If you can sing to my song. I only played one song on the zills.
On the zills? Oh, this is fun.
Little known fact about me.
I'll sing and you play. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
And that's the only instrument you'll let me hear me play.
Oh, I love it.
But I brought another instrument for you to play.
Oh.
Let's knock my coffee over. I forget what it's called. Dear friends bought it for me in Hawaii. It's half a coconut.
Oh my lord.
And I wondered if you'd know how to play it.
I love these things.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, I don't know the name exactly. There's actually a couple names for this instrument, but correct me if I'm wrong, world. Sorry in advance, but I think it's a traditional African instrument.
Oh.
And
they have coconuts in Africa.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not used to seeing them made out of a coconut, but
they're often made out of coffee cans.
Oh. They're often made out of coffee cans.
Coffee!
All you need is a resonating chamber. The violin is just that.
We're inside out of collision. They resonated my chamber. I like that.
That's the jingle for it.
Oh.
They better be sponsoring this.
Oh. Oh, here's another one.
It's okay. So it's in English. In America we call it a thumb piano.
Oh.
But there is a.
So it's related to the piano.
Well, no. I mean, many things are related to the piano, Svetlana.
I just had a thought of your future drag child's name. P. Annie. You're out there somewhere, P. Annie, and you don't even know who you are yet.
I love thinking of names for my future children. Shandy and I thought of anal Rydell.
Delicious.
Delicious and crystal.
Betty poops and then she wipes.
Okay, it's over.
I never know when it's over, but you're the queen of endings.
I'm the queen of happy endings.
So I have a trivia game for you to play in competition with our producer.
I love competition.
Would you like to do that now? Or would you like to go to more questions about you?
Well, I love talking about me.
Okay. Is it fair game to talk about how you met your husband? Tell us your love story.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything you want to know. It's juicy. We met at a concert.
Which one?
So we met at this, it's a concert for this ensemble called Room Full of Teeth. It's a vocal octet, and they are amazing. They do literally otherworldly things. Literally alien things with their voices. Like, I mean, it's really not.
Like that guy Vitas from that Russian group.
Perhaps.
Well, yeah. He's incredible.
But they do, so they have music written for them. It's kind of contemporary classical and a little avant-garde, but very accessible, very beautiful music. A friend of mine is a singer in the group. Her name is Esteli Gomez.
Shout out to Esteli.
You're beautiful, and you sing real good. But that ensemble is amazing, and we both went to go see the concert, and were introduced by a mutual friend who was not trying to hook us up, and was like, I don't think you guys would get along. And then we were both like, well, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then we started dating.
Oh.
And it took a little while for us to because I was living in Eugene at the time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And he was up here in Portland. So it took a few months for us to spend enough time to really be like, oh, we should do this.
Yeah.
But
And by this, do you mean sex?
Yes.
But you and Trevor are married.
Now we're married. Back then I was like, I think we should date, so I'm gonna fucking move to Portland.
Yeah. Oh, you moved here to date him. Your feelings were that strong.
I had another really close friend who had just moved to Portland, and I was done with Eugene. You know, it's a wonderful town, but it's very small, and dating there,
you can outgrow it.
Doing art there, the art there is really good, and there's some really wonderful things happening in Eugene. Shout out to Eugene.
Who asked who?
Who asked who?
To get married.
Well, I met up with him over some Chinese food. Shout out to Frank's Noodle House.
I love Frank's
Noodles is so good.
Oh my God.
And he was like, so, should we get married? And I was like, excuse me? I know, gagged, right? I was like... So he was like, should we get married? And I was like, yeah, okay.
Is my hair okay?
You look so cute.
But he said it let's just, I mean, it's a big deal, as gays. Had you always wanted to get married? I never thought we'd be able to get married.
You know, I didn't always want to get married. It wasn't, important to me to have marriage. It was a lot of things. It was this dichotomy that he and I both we felt conflicting things about marriage.
Yeah.
And, part of me was like, I don't fucking need to get married to prove my love for this person. But then I was also like, well, I did grow up watching Julia Roberts movies and, all chick flicks. And so, rom-coms, there's no denying that, a little part of me had some romantic, interest in that, in, the marriage sentiment. And then also, taxes and hospitals and things like that. It's just security.
Yeah. You're deciding for someone things that happen on their deathbed. Like, even though you spent your whole life with that person because you're not heterosexual and have a piece of paper, like, you can't even watch them die. Faggot! You know? Like,
Right.
that's
and
terrible.
you can't even get their whole life savings.
Fuck you, heterosexual patriarchy.
Yeah.
Cheers to your husband. He's very supportive. He's handsome.
He's very handsome, very supportive.
If he
very
does,
smart.
if he does leave you, let him know. I'll stop doing this right away. You and I both know people who shall not be named, who started doing drag, and then they had problems with partners that were really turned off by it.
Yeah, many people.
Yeah. How
I
is
think
that for you?
that's a huge thing.
Trevor seems very supportive of you.
He's very supportive. It's a real thing. I was really afraid when I started, when I discovered, well, no, I had a passion for drag long before I started it, but when it was time to start doing it, I was nervous because I've seen a lot of partners be unsupportive and,
Right.
you know, unattracted to, you know, someone who fucks with gender.
There's always creepy people who are ashamed of themselves that can replace those people if they leave you. I should know.
So now I'd like to play a piece by J.S. Bach, who's one of my favorite composers, and I might mess up because I'm okay with being imperfect.
Because Betty poops and so do you.
We all do it. Okay.
And Jeff's...
Now it's over.
I was going to say, just like that, bath time with Auntie Svetty began with Loretta Goodlordchild and ends with her child. All good things must end, and so does our time with Betty Poops. The queen of endings.
The queen of happy, poopy endings.
But you know what? Tomorrow we'll wake up, and tomorrow we'll need to poop too. Because what goes in must come out.
That's right. And what goes in comes out. Like down there, it also comes out.
Delicious.
But if it doesn't, go see a doctor.
If your poop is gray and clay-like, you're in trouble.
If it's black, it's probably blood.
Thank you, America.
Thank you, God.